Today I'm going to do an in-depth walkthrough of the infotainment system on the XPENG G6. So today I'm going to be doing a very in-depth video of the infotainment system here on the XPENG G6. This infotainment system is the same if you have the standard, the long range or the all performance model. So let's get straight into it. So this screen that we have here, I do apologise for this vehicle moving around. We're currently in the vehicle dealership here at Otter Vale Motor Services, and it's made out of a lot of metal, so the metal structure is playing up with some of the sensors, hence why it's getting a bit confused. But there is a vehicle parked very nearby, it's just struggling to work out the orientation, so I do apologise about some of these. Anyways, let's jump straight into the menus and go from there. So the screen, it might not show it very well on the cameras here because I'm recording this video in 24 frames per second, but the screens here are around about 120 Hertz. They're very smooth, very quick, and it may not come across on the cameras as clear as it normally would when you're physically seeing it, and that's just to do with the way cameras record things. So anyways, on to the settings. So starting right at the top with the settings, it shows you all of your vehicle data. So it shows you your tyre pressures, and then it shows you your energy curve, so how much battery you've been using or driving recently. As you can tell, we've been having a bit of fun recently with it. But it can show you all of the different stats, and you can log exactly what it's like with your driving style. Here you've got the odometer, again shows you how many miles the vehicle has done, the trip computers which you can reset so you can compare your different trips and so on, which you could do in most vehicles anyways. And then here you've got the vehicle mode, so if you're changing your front wipers or the rear wiper, you just have to turn those settings on, just so, because at the moment the wipers are hidden away for more aerodynamics and things, and that will just bring the wipers out so it's easier for you to change the blade onto them. And then you have pet mode here, and pet mode is great. So if you keep say one of your dogs in the car or something like that, it'll keep the air conditioning on, and it will adjust the alarm settings as well, so they don't set off the alarms. You can keep them safely locked in the vehicle, but also on a hot summer's day the air conditioning will keep them nice and cool, or if it's a winter's day we'll keep them nice and warm and dry. Trailer mode is a great one as well. So this obviously you can choose when the tow bar comes out, and various other settings as well, so if you're towing things. And the pet mode screen, this is what it looks like when we're on there as well. So jumping back into the settings, and then obviously you have rescue mode, so if you break down or there's a problem, you have a puncture or something like that, again that's when you use it, so the vehicle could be towed safely and securely. Going down to the windows and the doors tab, so here you can open and close the, well, they called it a trunk on here, but obviously in the UK we like to call it a boot. So you can open and close the boot, open and close the charging port, adjust your window settings as well, how far they open and so on. And when you unlock the doors, what exactly happens, so you can have the lights flash, the horn go off and so on as well. And again, as you can probably see at the moment, you can have it automatically selects park for you, and various other settings here as well. And we can also move it down to how sensitive the windows are as well. So when we close the vehicle, or lock the vehicle I should say, how much the windows move up and down. And also on the trunk here, you can choose what the angle of the memory is, opening and closing. So if you're parked in a garage or underground car park or something like that, and that's where you normally keep your vehicle, obviously you can choose how far the boot opens so it doesn't hit the roof of the garage. Moving down to the settings for the lights, so with the headlight adjustment, obviously these are great. On older cars you used to have a little wheel just underneath the steering wheel where you can manually adjust the pitch of the headlights, and this is exactly the same, just a digital version of that. You can also have the headlights choose when they come on and off. Everyone would most likely have them in auto mode, but obviously sometimes with various weather conditions and things like that, you need to override it, especially if you're driving in the dusk or something like that. that's when you can turn the lights on and off yourself manually. And then you have the intelligent high beam. So again, if you're driving and there's someone driving towards you, it will automatically dim the headlights and everything for you as well, which makes it nice and easy. And all of these settings are mainly based around driver comfort and making you feel as relaxed as possible when you get to your destination. So here on the seats, you do have a lot of settings as well. So you can adjust the seats manually on the side, especially for the passenger and the driver's seat. And that's got your usual settings of up, down, forward and back, and the tilt as well. So in here, you can actually save 3 preferences for different drivers, and this could be linked to the XPENG app as well on your phone. So if I open the app, it will remember my preferences and it will put the seat exactly where I like it. And if someone else jumps into the vehicle, then it will obviously automatically go to their preferences, and it just makes it a lot nicer and easier for you as well. Because when you open the door, the settings also move the seat back to make it easiest for you to get in and out of the vehicle. On here, you can actually adjust all of the seats as well, up, down, forward, back, and the rest of it really. And also you can tweak the lumbar support as well. And compared to other vehicles, I find that this is a lot more exaggerated as well, so you can really get the best driving position for you. Coming back to the next tab, which is about the massage settings. So I will turn it on because I don't mind the massage settings, it's quite good. And what this is doing is now in the back of the seat is now massaging my back, which is lovely. And then there's loads of different various versions of that which you can press as well and choose the intensity and so on. I would leave it on for the rest of the video, but I will turn it off. So anyways, let's jump down into the driving tab. So you have 4 different modes. You have Eco, Comfort and Sport, which are the XPENG modes. And then on top of that, you can have Individual, which is where you set everything for your own preferences and driving style. So we'll jump into Eco mode. And on here, the power response is obviously an Eco, which we cannot change because of it's in Eco settings. So anyways, you can change the power steering. And one thing about the XPENG G6 is that the steering wheel isn't physically connected to the front wheels. It's actually all done electronically. So you can change these settings in between a light feeling and a heavy feeling, and that will change just how you feel the vehicle, so to speak, and how your driving input is, rather than it changing any particular characteristics on how the vehicle handles or moves. Again, you've got the brake pedal feel as well, but also on top of that, then the settings which I find make the biggest difference when you're driving the XPENG G6 is the regen. So at the moment, the X pedal mode is when you lift off and it will automatically brake for you just to generate as much electricity for the battery. So with this mode, I find you have to keep your foot gently on the accelerator, and you can literally just drive it with the 1 foot if you like. But if you want it to feel more like a normal car, or if you're jumping between vehicles a lot and you prefer that type of feel, obviously you can change the settings, low, medium and high. And I would say try these out in a very safe area first, so you can get a real idea of what they feel like. And if you come to Otter Vale Motor Services and come for a test drive, one of our brand specialists will go out with you and they will find and help you understand all of these and show you exactly what they will feel like, so we can find the best driving settings for you. Up into the different driving modes. So comfort, this is what it would naturally go into anyways on the XPENG G6, and this has a very good balanced overview of everything from eco to sport, and it's, well, comfort modes, and it's quite comfortable really, if I'm honest, pardon the name, but it makes it nice and easy, puts everything in normal, medium settings, and again, I would recommend it. Sport mode, so obviously it makes everything feel heavier, it makes the brakes feel really sensitive, and the regen's quite low, and it obviously tightens the vehicle up. It makes the motor really work when it needs to straight away, and you do really notice the differences between the different driving modes. It's quite an obvious change. One thing that you can do in sport mode, which you can only do off-road, you can't do this on public roads, you put it into launch mode, and it tells you about the various risks of using it as well. because obviously it maximizes the motors to its full capacity, utilizes the battery to its full capacity as well with power delivery. And what it does, it really unlocks the full potential of the vehicle. And I have tried this, and it's a really cool mode, but definitely use it off public roads. Individual, so here you can really customize the entire vehicle to you, based on what type of power response you like, how you want the steering to feel, and so on. And you can make this just a personalized experience for yourself. So I'll leave it just in comfort mode for the rest of the demonstration. So the real-time SR assist, so this is where it's looking around you. There's so many sensors on and cameras on this vehicle. It really does help you be safe on the roads, really. So SR assist is effectively looking for pedestrians. It's looking for anything that may jump out at you while you're driving, and it's just there to keep you safe on the roads. And again, there's a very detailed description on the display about all of the various settings that it does. Into driver assistance, so again, this is very closely linked to the previous setting. So there's a lot of settings in this menu, as you can see, but effectively going through them, it's to keep you and your driving all nice and safe on the public roads. So you have lane assist, you have the warning lights come up on the dashboard. People love that, some people hate it, you know, even it's all down to personal preference with this. So this is where I would suggest, when you do have a go in the XPENG G6 for yourself, try all of it yourself, turning the settings on and off, and just see what you prefer. Obviously the XPENG is it's designed really to get you from A to B in a very relaxed manner and in a safe manner as well, and it does really look out for you. There's some sensors just off to the side, which permanently looking at the driver, and again, especially with the drowsiness warning, that does come into play as well. So it just makes you stay safe on the roads as much as possible, and that's what happens in this driver assistance tab. In the driving one, again, if you're doing a lot of motorway driving, lane centering control is great. Around where we're based here at Otter Vale Motor Services is quite a rural area, so we've just got that turned off. But if you're doing a lot of motorway driving or dual carriageways and things like that, I would recommend putting that setting on. And I haven't personally tried this setting myself, but the XPENG G6 does have an auto parking mode, and that's reversing into bay parking as well, and it's all here. So that's going to be an interesting one when I do try it for myself. The next one is the voice assistant. So you have a mode on it called Hey XPENG, and then normally an animation will come up and you can ask anything that you need. Change the radio station, change the heating, put on the heated steering wheel if you like, or even to turn on the wipers, to put down your window if you really want. But even though you do have window control buttons, however, you can ask it to do anything about the vehicle and it will, or if you're wanting just to ask it a question about the vehicle, like what setting does what, it will also react that as well. And you have the various active zones. So if you've got kids or anything in the back and they're messing around with the system and you don't want the system to react, you can turn it off for them as well, even the passenger if you like. So moving on to sound. So in here, this is where you audiophiles are going to love this. So there are 18 speakers all dotted around, with a Dolby Atmos as well. You've actually got some speakers just above here as well to give that 3D sound experience, and you can really go in and customize all of the control, the EQ. And the EQ, actually, you've got a lot of different bands rather than just bass, mid and high. You can really customize it to your audio preferences as well. And you've got the different styles and modes, and it's easier to explain this when there's music playing. So I would say try it out when you come into our showroom, or take the XPENG G6 for a test drive. You do have a driver's speaker as well, so this is where there are actually some speakers in the headrests as well. So if you're making a phone call, the phone call can just come out just for that for the driver, or if you want to add it, you know, so the whole car and everyone can hear, you can change that here as well. And then you can choose various different volumes for everything. So if you want the navigation to be a lot quieter or even louder compared to the music and so on, you can again just go through here just to tailor it to your exact needs. And you can also choose how loud the system prompts are as well, say speed warning signs or things like that. Again, it's all in here to make it nice and easy for you. So on the charging and discharging page, so this is where you get to choose everything about the battery to make it last as long as possible, really. So you can have battery health protection, which I would recommend to keep on, because obviously you've spent a lot of money on the vehicle and you would like to look after the battery that's getting you from A to B. So obviously you have slow charging appointments and things like that. You can schedule charging as well, and you can choose how it's all displayed with how much battery life you have left, and that's down to just various different preferences of how you like to drive the vehicle. So again, you have all the various settings in here, and then on the power supply one you can choose how much the power limit is with charging, and if you want a delayed start with 12-volt powers and things like that. So intelligent imaging, so here we are to have a look, because as I say, there's 12 cameras on the vehicle, loads of sensors as well, and this is how effectively the car sees itself in the real world. So you can go through here looking at all the different settings. So you've got 3D transparent body on the vehicle, 360 camera, you can turn it on and off, and the panoramic view, so you can choose how the views are displayed as well. You can choose how close or far it is as well. Loads of different settings. It's one of these where you can really tailor it to the individual drivers. And then you have X-Guard, so if it records an emergency or something's happening around the vehicle, it will record it as well. So it's kind of like a Ring doorbell how this works. If it detects anything, it will record it, let you know, have it sent straight to your phone as well, which is also an added bonus. So if you're parking somewhere you're not feeling too safe, turn that on and it will look after you. Here we've got down towards some of the most overlooked settings, which are the display settings for the center display and the driver's display. You can have it auto brightness, which I'm going to turn back off and put it to here so the cameras can still see, but you can obviously go in day mode, which changes everything to white, and then you have night mode as well, which is everything like a dark mode, so to speak. Most people tend to prefer the night mode, but again, it's all down to your preference. And then you could choose how large or small the font is. You can have adaptive day and night mode, which is great. Yeah, it's great, really. Device connection, well, this is just going to be the most obvious one. So the vehicle does have a hotspot as well. It has its own wireless network, which is brilliant. Again, the usual, connect to Bluetooth, and you do have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay as well. And then general, so you got this way you could do updates. You got your storage on here as well, so in case you download any extra apps or anything like that. And it's all self-explanatory really on this menu. So coming back to the main screen, so that was only in the settings tab, so we've got plenty more to go, but these all should be a little bit shorter now. So obviously map is again fairly self-explanatory. You've got your own built-in sat nav. You can obviously zoom in and out, move the map around, enter your location of where you would like to go. Pretty self-explanatory. And also you can say, hey XPENG, and it will obviously search your destination as well. This is the real-time SR assist, so again it's just that view which is around you, which is the screen we started on with. And then air conditioning, so again this you can tweak everything to the passenger, to the driver, have both the same dual or separate climate control, and obviously you can choose your fan speed here. On the new version you now have physical tabs where you can adjust the vents up and down, left and right, whereas on the previous version it was all done through the screen. Again, you can have obviously the defrosting for the front or demisting for the front and rear, and you can choose the rear vents on as well. There we go, and there's heating or cooling for the back seats as well. so which is great. Here you can choose if you want the heated seats on for the rear passengers or yourself, and the front 2 seats also have air conditioning built in as well, which is lovely. We're nice in the hot heater summer. And the driver gets a lovely heated steering wheel, and I must say it's a very good heated steering wheel as well, and you have 3 different modes for that on there. Moving over, so we have music. So obviously you've got your DAB, which is very standard these days, AM, FM, all of that kind of stuff, and this is where you would also control it. You can have Spotify if we logged in as well, obviously over Bluetooth. You've got TuneIn Radio as an app, or obviously on board as well. We need to download it on this one, and again with Amazon Music you can have that all in, so you can just makes it more seamless and nice and easy, so you don't always have to connect your phone if you don't want to. And that's pretty much it for the for the music kind of tab. Again, Bluetooth, it just takes you back to that same Bluetooth tab, nice and easy. Radio, again, it just has all of the buttons here just to make it easier when you're driving and you need to change a setting or turn something on. It's just there for you, hence why they're separated a bit more. Phone, again, nice and easy. You can obviously, when your phone is connected, ring somebody if you need. So mindfulness space, so this is an interesting one. This is to help you relax. So this will, if I activate it,
adjusting the seat and other cockpit settings to a comfortable state for you to start your mindfulness time.
And there we go. So it's where you can kick back, relax. It's obviously recline the seats, and I'll turn the volume down on it for a moment. But it's got effectively I have to turn the volume all the way down so we don't get XPENG talking over us, but effectively helps you relax for a bit. It's like a little portable spa really in here. So you can choose a timer here, 30 minutes. Well, I don't even know what the longest one is actually. You can go for 2 hours if you really want. So you can, it's very nice and relaxing in here. And there's loads of different modes. You've got sounds of the waves, you've got a body scan, reduce stress, and so on. But anyways, we'll leave that mode, and what it will do, it then puts the seats back into their normal driving mode. You do have X Sleep, which I won't press at this point because it will put the seats completely flat, and it's gonna, yeah, it'll be quite an interesting experience while I'm sat in the vehicle as well. X combos, so this is where it's got various different things which you can add. So you got well, yeah, daily ventilation, so it sorts out the air conditioning for you. You can purify the air, ambient lights on and off to save energy. These are all various different settings which just help with your personalized experience of the vehicle. So 360 camera, self-explanatory I'd like to think. So you can obviously let's go on to this one. You can see all 4 corners. There's the 3D mode as well, so we can move the camera around and you can see that here we are in the showroom as mentioned earlier. So again, we can just see all different angles of the vehicle if you're in tight spaces and things like that. Local media, obviously if you have a USB plugged in. Wired casting, so again if you had your phone physically plugged in you can do that as well. The XPENG App Store, that's where you can download extra apps onto here as well if you like. A browser, obviously you've got your own web browser built in, so someone's been on YouTube here watching some football highlights, but again you can watch YouTube on the XPENG. It's not my thing, football, but it's all available on here. You can actually download a dedicated YouTube app. You can download TikTok, you can download Instagram, you can download, it's like an iPhone pretty much. You can have everything on here. Again, a dedicated Spotify app, a DVR, so this is driving recording. So there are cameras and obviously you can record all from the cameras. You have to plug in a dedicated USB memory stick, and again just makes it safer for your driving. So if you need to document anything, if a bump or a crash did happen, it's all logged on all of the cameras as well. Calendar, I'm not sure. Oh, it does link up to your phone, the calendar. I had to double check that myself because it's something which I wouldn't naturally use. And then obviously the final two, you've got Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which if you've used them on other vehicles before, self-explanatory. You can have your phone wirelessly, having all of your own personal phone preferences onto the screen as well. So just coming along the bottom here, obviously you've got some quick access buttons so the passenger can easily control their heating. Again, same for the driver on here. They have a few more settings to have the overall say on what settings what, and you can press the three dots, and again that will take you straight to these settings here. Obviously you've got your volume, you've got overall, so the passenger can easily do it, the driver can do it from the steering wheel, and again that's for the how loud the navigation is, the phone call is, notifications, you can just control it all from there nice and easily. The squares here, obviously that takes you to your apps, 360 to your cameras if you need to quickly reference and see anything around you, blind spots or so on. It depends what setting you have, but again that's very useful. Music, straight to your music. The car, that takes you straight to your vehicle stats, things you may want to see while you're driving. And home, it just shows you that SR assist as well. And then obviously you've got here to open your power port and to open the boot as well. Again, you can get straight down to the radio here in the bottom right, or the music you're currently listening to easily for the driver. And that is realistically the very quick overview of every setting that you have here on the XPENG G6. If there's anything which you guys are interested in particular, please let us know in the comments down below. Otherwise, that is it for the overview of the infotainment system here on the XPENG G6. The XPENG is now available here at Otter Vale Motor Services, and all of the details are in the description down below.